Keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic, keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also follow me on all my social media platforms to stay connected with all Keek on the Mic news. Okay, Bears fans, we have some more NFL draft rumors, and we all know this by now. The Chicago Bears will have no shortage of potential suitors looking to trade up to land the number one overall pick. And I think we all know by now that we should anticipate that the Chicago Bears will in fact trade out of the number one overall slot in the draft to gain more draft capital. We've talked a lot about this on the podcast about potential suitors, much like the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, maybe the Carolina Panthers, Las Vegas Raiders. The Bears will have a lot of suitors trying to get to that number one spot in the 2023 NFL draft. But according to draft analyst Todd McShay, he believes Houston is prepared to throw their hat in trying to land the number one overall pick. And he believes that the Indianapolis Colts are a big reason why the Houston Texans are looking to make the move up. He says this: I don't think the Texans will sit at 2. I think they'll do everything they can, and the Colts are going to be the driving reason. I've said this a lot on the podcast, Bears fans, that I truly feel that the Houston Texans, if there's that one guy that they really want that separates themselves, they will come up and make a move. And I know a lot of people have been commenting on past podcasts when I mentioned this, saying, well, it's dumb for the Houston Texans to move up one spot when they may get the guy they want at 2. Yes, that is true. But once again, if there is that one guy, let's say Bryce Young, separates himself from the other 2 quarterbacks that are potential first-round picks, the Houston Texans will basically have no choice but to try to move up to that number one overall pick to ensure that they get their guy. And once again, McShay said it, the driving reason for this is teams like the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts can easily offer the Bears a bigger package to jump the Houston Texans to possibly get their guy. And like I mentioned before, the Houston Texans don't want to see that happen because obviously the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts play in the same division. So once again, if CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, or even Will Levis separate themselves during these pro days, during the NFL Combine, right? All that good stuff. If one quarterback separates themselves, there are going to be teams looking to trade up for that number one pick because they want to get their guy. At this point, these are all rumors. We don't know what's going to happen. But I truly believe that if there's a situation where the Houston Texans have to trade up because they feel that pressure from the Indianapolis Colts, I think they will make a move. What does a deal look like in terms of the Houston Texans trading up one spot? I can possibly seeing us not only landing the number 2 overall pick, possibly the number 33 overall pick, which is essentially a first round pick, even though it's early in the second round, and then possibly maybe a second or third round pick the following year. It just depends how much pressure is on them. I'm not too sure if we would land a next year's first for them trading at one spot, but at this point, you never know. If they feel that pressure from the Indianapolis Colts or from teams like the Carolina Panthers, who knows? They may be willing to offer more. I mentioned this before on the podcast that the Houston Texans have a whole lot of draft capital. They have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years, plus 10 extra picks this year and 10 extra picks next year. So Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans should have no problem in possibly making a deal to move up one spot with the Chicago Bears. Personally, I know this is probably unrealistic, but I would be looking for number 2 and 12 this year to try to get 2 first-round picks. Is that realistic? Probably not. But once again, you never know. It all depends on how things play out with these 3 quarterbacks and if one of these 3 quarterbacks can separate themselves, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. But I wanted to come on here and update you guys on this little rumor from Todd McShay, what he's been hearing. So we'll just have to wait and see as it gets closer. It's going to get more intense, and we'll see what the Chicago Bears are able to land in a potential deal to trade away the #1 overall pick. Before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. How do you guys feel about Todd McShay's comments, and would you be willing to trade with the Houston Texans? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can